What is up, boys? It's your boys Tommy Tom Hanks and Timmy Tam Tom. Wow, he's actually a YouTuber. I didn't even mean to reference it. It's just when you're improvising, words come out of your mouth, you know.
No, you're in a fugue state there. I saw you on a roll.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, it's John and Patrick from Obscure Reference. We're back at it with some more Opum One Piece of Our Minds. Chapter 1152 just dropped, titled "A Horrible Day."
Hmm.
And we're back at it with Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 36. Otama's I, Amigasa hat delivered to Kawamatsu, Daimyo
Lovely.
Apakamai. I don't know why that one was
Very
so hard
nice.
for me to read. But
You
yeah,
named every other part of that.
we got Yamato delivering the hat. Ulti and Page One are there. We got the Yokozuna older brother. He's got a bump on
He's
his
just
head.
chilling, but he's smiling.
I think that's about everything.
Yeah, I mean, what was the state of Hakamai before, during the Wano arc proper?
I
Like,
could not tell you.
okay, I can't either. I was just gonna point
Everybody
out the
was
infrastructure here
just
looks
not great up until we
nice-ish.
overthrew Kaido, and now everybody's fine. That's all I.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Now, do you think this chapter? Don't cut this out. Don't cut this out.
Okay.
Do you think this chapter's gonna get us back to Alexander?
No idea what you're
You
talking
know,
about.
he had that no good, horrible, very bad day.
Okay, see, my brain went to the no good, very horrible, bad day. I didn't remember the kid's name was Alexander.
I might be reaching there. If I get it wrong, cut it out. Okay, let's
I'm
go.
cutting it
One
out
one.
regardless. Don't you worry.
No. All right, 1-1-5-2. A horrible day. I'm just gonna be referencing Alexander the rest of this chapter just to like mess with you a little bit. All right. All right. So remember, Luffy and the crew and everyone with them were like, "Shit's happening. Let's go." All right, hurry to the lift. Do your best with that fool, Gerd. All right. Okay, I'm trying to see where they have Loki, but I don't see Loki. Did they just leave him? We'll get
Yeah,
to
no,
we'll get
he's
to
still tied up at the moment.
Okay. Take care, you guys. Ultra Rare Gerd, I will give it my all. Oh, I see. So Gerd's staying back with Loki. All right, all right, all right,
Yes.
all right. Yeah, I see Roto saying, Ultra Rare Gerd, I'll give it my all. Make it snap, Yajardin. We gotta go. Chopper saying, I'll stay too, Luffy. We can't move Mr. Yao when he's so badly injured. All right, thanks, Chopper. And we see Gaban saying, Hey, Straw Hat Luffy. Make a mental note of how you use your color of the Supreme King. They are not immortal. Thanks, I've got this one. I'm gonna save Colin and everyone else. We see Loki's sitting up with his back to the tree. Yes, he's still chained up and all that stuff. You've helped me see the sense of it, Gaban. I wasn't able to verbalize my own power. Hmm? And in that case, I've experienced it for myself. The Holy Knights can be stopped. Undo my cuffs and take me with you, Hajridin. You're going to fight for Elbaf. And we're all just kind of squaring off now, and Hajridin's like, I'm not taking you anywhere. And Gaban's kind of propping himself up a little bit. He's saying, Seems like there's more than one of you with Supreme King Hockey. Hmm? And Sashi just rushes up. He's like, Who? Me? Who else could you be talking about? Yeah, I had a feeling. I'm tired of Mosshead and Jinbei seeing all of my glory. You there, swordsman. You
Jinbei.
seem quite at ease with it. Did we know about Jin? I feel it. Did we know about? I don't know if we knew about
I
Jinbei.
mean, obviously, like he can stare down Big Mom and be cool with it. So, is this Jinbei conquer, or is this just in general he's tired of Jinbei stealing his thunder?
Yeah, I think it's easy to mistake it for Jinbei having conquerors when we've not seen that. But
Yeah,
I could totally see it being like, well, he's got. Because does he have a higher bounty than Sanji?
I
I
think
forget.
so.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so I
we'll
could
come
see
back
it
to it.
being
We'll
that.
come back to it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You there, swordsman. You seem quite at ease with it. So I was like, what? And he's like, wait, I can use Supreme King Hockey? And Luffy's like, what? You didn't know that. It's flowing out of you.
Dude, you've been using it before anyone else in the series.
Jesus Christ, this guy used it on Kaido. Kaido even mentioned it. And Zoro, he's an
That's
idiot. I
funny.
love him.
That's funny.
Unbelievable. Hockey is a power that's only useful when you consciously control it. How do you How do you expect to support your captain, an emperor of the sea, without knowing that? And Zoro's like, sorry. And Sanji's like, hey, Gramps, what about me? And we're getting cut off. Loki's saying, this is pathetic, Hydrogen. You'd rather have outsiders save our homeland? Elbaf already has me. And we're seeing one more panel of Sanji. We might need to cut back to that. But Hydrogen's screaming at Loki, is that a fact? Because I can certainly see you betraying Elbaf and joining the side of the government instead. You more or less already did that once. How can I possibly trust you? Ooh. Hurry, Hydrogen. Wasted time means more victims. Luffy's saying, hey,
Oh!
Loki, join my crew, man. Fucking A. Alright. Then can we send him free Hydrogen? And Hydrogen's like, what the fuck? Zoro's like, huh? Forget about it, Luffy. There's no way this enormous freak fits on our ship. What about the food? He eats more than you. So yeah, both valid concerns. Luffy's like, come on. It sounds like Elbaf doesn't want you around anyway. I think it'd be fun with you. If anyone's got a problem, I'll whoop them. And Loki's just, getting all angry. Shut your mouth, Pipsqueak. Why would I ever be a henchman for you? And Hydrogen's saying, is that what your instinct tells you, Straw Hat? And Luffy's like, I want to see him fight. Hydrogen, watch the hold up. We gotta use the lift. I'm coming now. I'm sorry, Straw Hat, but Elbaf has condemned Loki to death. You can't have him. Oh, darn. Hydrogen. Gaban's saying this. Go on and unlock Loki's chains.
Oh!
Let's go. And Hydrogen's like, not you too, Mr. Ya. Why do you say this? Loki killed 113 soldiers in the castle 14 years ago. He gave Chief Jarl a most grievous wound and slaughtered his own father. His crimes are monstrous and historic in scale. I know, but we'll get to it.
Yeah,
I
we're
know,
getting to
but
it.
the day it happened, we felt an extreme abnormal hockey from the castle. And Shanks and I headed for Ara's castle together. We didn't see the whole thing. But we were there. You what? Huh? Did you just say Shanks? Sorry, Stanson, you'll have to go up first. And Luffy's waving at him. Zoro, Sanji, we'll catch up with you soon. And Zoro's like, Shanks obsessed fool.
Hmm.
And Luffy's like, what? Don't call Shanks a fool. He was talking about you, fool. Oh my god. We're talking about you. Energy there. Alright.
Yeah, absolutely.
Loki's like, Gaban, who better to tell the story than Hajuden? You're still brothers, even if your mothers are different. You have 3 minutes to explain everything. What happened in the castle that day 14 years ago? Okay, I see. What happened in that castle 14 years ago, Loki? If you're a true warrior of Elbaf, then swear by the name of God and speak the truth. And Loki's just saying, this is a cruel demand, brother. You want me to relive that event? I'd rather not remember the details. It was a horrible day. You just see him covering his eyes like this. Someone's coming from the sky. And yeah, we're cutting back to Elbaf 14 years ago, Ara's castle. Nogahaha! Oh no, Loki! Prince Loki has returned. Chief Jarl is here as well. So yeah, Loki, I guess, jumped down from their little ship thing. Now he's there. He summoned you too, Loki. Hey, we're family. You're looking good though, old man. Just try not to live too long, eh? Shut your mouth. So yeah, we see Chief Jarl and Loki standing here in the castle courtyard place. His Majesty is in the throne room. What does he want with me anyway? I have no interest in a man who'd sell his soul to the world government. These are the people who killed Rox. If Elbaf is going in that direction, they'll make an enemy out of me. Lower your volume. I'm an old man now. I'd rather leave the politics to the younger folks. That lackadaisical attitude is exactly the problem. It's how you end up with peace-addicted children with no idea of how to swing a weapon. That's the age we live in. My granddaughter's granddaughter doesn't fight, and she's adorable. Soft old dullard. Train her up. Use some discipline. What's that ruckus? It's coming from the throne room. Chief Jarl, thank you for coming. And Loki, my prince, welcome back. Hey, I heard that. Just a minute. Let me check with the king. He summoned me here. This is my home. Look, he's getting indignant. He's kicking the door down. Just open the damn. Hey, Pop, I'm back. And we just see what's his nuts, Harold being stabbed on all sides, kind of like Squard did to Whitebeard, um, but like with like 20 squads. Um, he's like, Your Majesty, huh? Harold, what's going on here? Meanwhile, in the Sun World, Gaban's house, the view's simply enormous. This place is the best, ain't it? Been a while since we shared a good bath together, and we see a slightly younger Gaban and Shanks here. What's it been, 3 or 4 years? Are you kidding? Captain died 10 years ago. Has it really been that long? It must feel like an eternity for you then. Yeah, my life's changed entirely. My plan was to join up with Buggy and lead a laid-back pirating life. But even here in Elbaf, there's so much more to learn. You're a child of fate, Shanks. Don't bother thinking over the tricky little details. You remember Little Garden, the island where we met Dory and Broggy? Of course. How's the water feeling, Mr. Yao? And Shanksy, and we see Ripley just poking her head in. And Shanks is like, that scared me. Shanksy? Ah, it feels great. Thanks, Ripley. She seems to like it when I'm at eye level like this. I guess this is how you have to design your house if you live with a giant, huh? I've got a lingonberry tart for you. Have some wine with it if you like. Tell me some stories about Mr. Yao's younger days, Shanksy. Oh boy, the tales I could tell. At every single port of call, Gaban had a different, and Gaban's pulling his cheek. Ow, 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 ow. Hey, punk, you want to leave this island alive? Yeah, just sitting on a porch. You know much about King Harold? They worship him like a god here in Elbaf. Yes, I met him and married Joan. We got along all right. But there was something we couldn't talk about in the Holy Land. So if he's back home, I'd like to meet him and discuss it. Before it's too late. On this day, a bunch of text boxes are happening. On this day, there was a massacre in the castle, and the most beloved king in Elbaf's history, wise King Harold, perished. Huh? What's that? Let me out! Who blocked the door? Help! Excuse me, I had a burp. And we see, blood splattering over there. A sword going through Chief Jarl's head, the one that we all know and love. Chief Jarl! This is the treasure of Elbaf, the forbidden devil fruit. But what was it that caused people to praise him so? For that, we must go far back in time. Oh, a flashback in a flashback? Oh my god. To 109 years before the present, when the question of what is the most frightening thing on the sea would elicit a unanimous answer. The giant pirate crew were the most widely feared figures of the day. At the same time, the royal ship from the land of giants. It's a giant ship! Only enhanced the fear the world felt toward Elbaf. I hear there's a beautiful princess in the castle. Take a look. You just see a giant poking his head through into a castle. Aye! And a major reason for that. Oh shit. Okay, so I'm just taking this panel in. Was that Harold, King of Elbaf, who ascended the throne at just 45 years old, 15 in human years, was undeniably a low-life scumbag. And so, we see him kicking his subordinate into the castle. Oopsie, my foot slipped. Please don't do that, Your Majesty. But who's your god now? And we see Harold here. He's massive. Looks kind of cool. I'm gonna say it. I like this design.
I straight up
But
thought he
that's
was rocks for a second.
he kind of given that vibe a little bit for sure.
Like, especially in
But
that last panel. That is the face you could have told me was rocks.
hmm no, for sure.
Oh my goodness. What a chapter.
Oh, I like
Unfortunately, like, I think we all knew the flashback was coming. I think we knew we were here.
yes.
But unfortunately, we are not getting back to the surface for some amount of time now. Because we have to get to the end of this flashback, then we need to get to the other flashback, then we have to go back to the story.
I've got a lot of questions. I think obviously our minds run the flashback on a flashback. What's the end goal of this? Obviously, we're gonna get more on Harold, but what else are we gonna get out of this?
We're going to get. Well, obviously, Harold's going to be a kind of Odin figure where he's a rebellious piece of shit, but
Yeah.
it turns out he's got a heart of gold. We're going to see him mature into a fine young man. Then we're going to see, as he's winding back the war age of Elbath, the government shows up and he knows how powerful they are from his time on the sea. So he's like, "Yeah, no, we'll make a peace deal with you. We'll sign stuff. We'll be allies." Like, but obviously he also knows the government's evil.
Hmm.
Being this old, knowing Chief Jarl. So it's obviously a trick. And when he fails to go through on the plot, they're going to dummy reversey him, leading to the modern flashback.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm just wondering. 190 years in the past is an odd number. I'm just wondering, like with Odin's flashback, like we kind of figured we'd get him, you know, in his vagabond days, and then slowly turn around and then being boiled alive. But we got so much more than that. We got like Roger, we got Whitebeard, we got all that other stuff. So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
wondering, like, we'll have that main thread that you just mentioned. I agree with you. I'm just wondering what else we're getting. Like,
That's fair, but nobody of significance, save immortal government figures, was around 109 years ago.
mhm. But I wonder
I wonder
if
if we get
that's the
Saul.
answer. Oh, Saul is not a bad pull, actually.
Yeah, maybe King Harold like raids his village, and that's what makes him decide he doesn't want to be a warmonger, but he can't just be peaceful either.
Hmm. Maybe. But I could see you point out that the only people we know that be alive at this point would be Gorosei, Immortal, whatever. I could see it being that being the answer that we get more insight on that. We're in the final saga. We gotta get some more insight slash answers, sort of. Doesn't need to be there. I'm just pointing it out.
Oh my god, do you think we get the little girl who challenges Dorian Bragi to the hunting contest, and we find out it was a trap to keep him on that island forever?
Oh, that'd be a neat twist.
Not just like an innocent child asking an innocent question, but like pitted them against each other,
Hmm.
knowing, if they both leave, it's bad. If one leaves, it's okay, but they could keep each other locked in. Is that. No, Ragnarok's End of the World. What's the one where you're in immortal combat that just does not end?
My God, I don't recall.
I forget the name of it, but that's a very Viking theme.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I don't know. I'm curious to see how that plays out.
So we're gonna get that. I have no idea what else. I'm trying to think if there's any other. No, there's no way we get where Onigishima's skull comes from.
I doubt it. I doubt
No.
it.
That I think we're gonna have to wait for the Void Century flashback.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. Is where we get that answer.
So with Odin, he was a rapscallion, but he was never a bad person. He just did a lot of destructive things, and people perceived him as
Mhm.
bad. Harold is a low-life scumbag we see kicking his subordinate into a castle full of people to crush it.
Right.
Um, how does he become a peace-loving, most noble king in history? What changes in him?
Now remind me, do you know off the top of your head how old Loki is?
Nope.
Okay.
I want to say
Uh,
70s.
70s.
I
Okay.
that's I could just be wrong on that though.
Well, 'cause I wonder if it's as simple as, well, he meets his wife and that's it, but I don't think it'll be that simple. Um,
Well, I mean, of course it won't be that simple. He has two wives. They're only Loki and
True,
Hardin are
that's
half
true.
brothers.
Right, I forgot that point. Yep, very true. Well, and then maybe it has something to do with that, because like maybe he has Loki, and he's still a piece of shit, and then he meets Hashirdan's mother, and he's like, people can change. I'm not a piece of shit.
I want you to know I'm scared to let you hold my son, just because if he cries, you're gonna never gonna stop making that joke.
Never, never ever.
But yeah, no, it's about time we get to the damn flashback. Is so while we can sit here and speculate where we're gonna go, what we're gonna see,
Mm.
characters, it's like especially like if we got the Odin flashback with the knowledge it's gonna be more than just Wano, I'm sure we could have pieced just about all of that together. Here we are completely in the dark. I
Mhm.
have
Yeah.
no idea what possibly comes from this.
Yep.
So let's go
Pure
back and
speculation.
talk about the modern day. This is one of the funniest chapters we've had in forever. Not even forever. Elbap has been hilarious.
They've had a lot of good jokes, goose and gags.
There's another among you with the Supreme King hockey. Who, me? Is it me?
I just
Zoro
love how
just
desperate he
doesn't
is.
even know. It's like, you're oozing it.
And I do like the point too that like after we make that joke that Gabon's like, you should be able to use this and support your captain. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Lock in, bud.
No,
Zoro's
what
just
I
no.
love is Zoro has been supporting him. Zoro's been right there
Hmm.
standing at his side. He is the wing. And he's not even tapped into his power yet. All of this,
Yeah.
and he doesn't even realize, oh, I can just easily be that much stronger.
Oh, I mean, 1,000%. Like, we have a
That being
point
said,
here.
sorry,
Yeah.
I'm very glad Zoro doesn't know how to control it, isn't even aware he has it, because what that means, to me at least, fight me on this, I think he's stronger than
Mhm.
Luffy. Like, right now, I think, Zoro could go toe to toe with Gear 5. Um, but obviously Zoro is not even using Conqueror Saki on purpose.
Yeah, there could be an argument made there. I could see it.
Like, I mean, he was invited to Roof Beast. He got to fight Kaido, and Kaido
Hmm.
dodged. Kaido did not
Yeah.
dodge Gear 5.
Yep. So yeah, there's certainly an argument to be made there. And with yeah, I wonder. No, that's reaching too much. I think. But yeah, good that like we all kind of knew he had conquerors, but I like that even Luffy's like, "What? You're oozing it, dude. What are you talking about?" Like, it's good to have that confirmed. Didn't get a definite answer on Sanji though. Like, I think
No,
we have that one
I'm
panel.
sorry. Like, until we see him develop it, Sanji does not have
Mhm.
Conqueror Saki. You cannot change my mind.
No, I'm just saying, because you're right. Until he actually proves it or someone says so, I'm not going to buy it. But the fact that Sanji's doubling down on asking Gaban about it, and we have that one panel of
Mhm.
him after Loki interrupts, makes me think there's something there. There's something more there.
Oh, I mean, like, for sure. Like, let's be clear. Gaban has Supreme King Haki. We
Thousand
know,
percent.
like, as the wing of the Pirate King, he had it. So I fully believe Sanji will get it at some point, but that's just it. You can't develop it. It's something you're born with. So I'm very
Right.
confused there. But if Whole Cake was Zoro's arc, there is a 0% chance he turns into a whiny bitch and just accepts his fate and trudges along to save his friends. He'd be a Supreme King and he would knock down Big Mom then and there. Or die
Hmm.
trying.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
Sanji's actions just are not somebody who cannot be conquered. So
But
something's got to
maybe
change before he can call himself that.
I don't know. Maybe he needed whole kick to get to that point. Maybe it's just latent in him, waiting for him to kind of get to the point where he is now, or something. I don't know.
No,
A
see,
lot of speculation on something that's not there yet. I'm just throwing it
I
out there.
don't buy that either because like if it was latent and just needed to be pushed to come out, what about at any point during his childhood or when he was trying to flee but he leaves in tears? What about when he was starving to death? Or what about when the Baratier was under attack? At no point he has received enough stress to push himself to tap into his latent ability. I don't buy it. Again, I fully believe end of the series he will attain it, but I have no idea how because like, he's just not a conqueror.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe you were just holding off on it because it fits you thematically more. I don't know. We'll see. Um, but while we're on the topic of Conqueror's hockey, like, um, I don't. I guess we could kind of put the piece together that that was what we needed to take care of the Holy Knights.
Hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, what else was it going to be?
Yeah. I almost had a feeling that was going to be another like Guo situation, Rio, whatever the fucking hockey was that Luffy learned in Wano that helped
Yeah.
him beat up Kaido. But I guess that's just a different form of Supreme King hockey, right?
Rio? No, that's advanced armament.
Oh, advanced tournament. All right, all right, all right.
And then we took the advanced armament, applied Conqueror's
And
Haki to
applied
it, and
it.
figured out how to really damage Kaido.
Right.
So,
Okay.
that being said, we learned that in Wano, which is an entire saga ago.
Yeah.
Uh, there's no way that power carries us to the end, so what comes next in terms of things you can do with Conqueror's Haki?
Yeah. Now be okay. So we got what? We got three holy knights here. One of them is possessed by Emu. Well, Loki's got it. So we do have three people that have Conqueror's Haki. Well, minus Gaban, who's down also, but I'm just trying to do the math of who goes up against who or what happens the rest of this arc. But
I have no idea. One, obviously Loki's getting untied.
yes.
Two, we're going up to the surface. Loki redeems himself in the eyes of Elbaf. Let's see. Luffy goes Gear 5, probably does an insane burst of Conqueror's Haki. Um, how long ago was Ryuma?
And Thriller Bar. Oh, like the actual
Yeah,
Ryuma.
how many hundreds of years ago was Ryuma? Was
God,
that
I don't know.
800? He's not Void Century, is he? Or do we just know Ancient?
I don't think he's Lloyd Century.
But I
Um,
would not be surprised with us talking about Zoro's Conqueror's Haki and he needs to lock in if he decides to use this as a training arc. And if he just has an
yeah.
insane burst of hockey and Emu's like, holy shit, Ryuma and Joy Boy?
Let's see.
Now, again, I'm not saying Ryuma's Void Century necessarily. I'm not going to, make
No.
up that number. But Emu being immortal, maybe we were around longer than Void Century. I forget exactly when Emu or Ryuma happened. But what if, we recognize his hockeyness, like the Sword King and the King of the Pirates is all here at once? The King of Hell, also Sanji.
So I'm looking at his wiki entry. Um, he was born in Wano country many centuries ago during his country of gold era. So that rules him out for this. I don't necessarily think that means void century though, but it
Yeah,
could.
I don't think it's Void Century. But again, did Emu, get born 100 years before the Void Century, become immortal then? Or have we been around for thousands of years and have been immortal the
Yeah.
whole time?
Yep. We don't necessarily
So,
know.
I'd keep an eye on that. I just think
Yeah.
with all the ties to Ryuma and the looks, the heritage, I know he doesn't have a sword anymore, but just the raw
Yeah.
power, I think we could be surprised to see that hey, he's that guy, isn't he? Uh,
Yeah. And with how little we got of it in Wano, I can see him touching back on that here.
does Loki join the crew?
That was gonna be my next question. Hard for me to say yes because I don't know.
It's hard for me to say yes because I don't know. That being said, I've seen a lot of theories. Going into the Void Century, the world government has an ancient weapon at their disposal. Very likely, what's his name? Blackbeard about to get his hands on Poseidon. So and we obviously the Straw Hats are connected to Pluton. What with the having the blueprints and the only person who can read them and find Pluton.
Yep.
And we know it's got to be made of treasure tree atom. So we're on the island where Pluton has to be built. We have the only people who can build Pluton, and we have a need to have an ancient weapon to compete. Are we about to build a massive battleship and replace the Sunny?
Now that's something I hadn't considered.
Because
Hmm.
if Loki's joining, like getting Pluton, whether that's an upgrade to the Sunny or just a new boat, that's an entire different argument. Assuming it's a new boat,
Yeah.
uh, assumably large enough to destroy an island in a single blast, That's got to be big enough to house a giant.
And one with ancient giant blood in it, nonetheless.
And
Um,
especially then, you have enough room to grow food, so maybe, we can feed giants on this ship.
Now, I like this idea. I don't think it replaces the Sunny, only because that would come in direct conflict with what Frankie's big goal is, which is to
Oh,
build a
you're
ship
right.
that
Ship
can
of
get to all the
dreams
One
around the
Piece.
world. You're right. You're right.
So I don't think that specifically will happen, but I could totally see. Well, actually, even what if? Okay, so what if he joins, but he doesn't join Straw Hat Crew specifically, but he goes with Hajime
Keep freezing up on me, man.
about that?
You froze up. I missed all of that.
Ah, shucks. So what if instead of joining the crew directly, he joins the Grand Fleet with Hajime and the new giant pirates? That was a great zoom from your camera, by the way.
Uh, Equally plausible, I'd say. I think I would like that less. Like, I could see him joining Luffy because, like, as much as Loki's a conqueror in and of himself, we know that Luffy is like the king of the conquerors. It's people follow him.
Yeah.
So I would be okay if Luffy, got him as a subordinate. I don't know. I'd be okay if Harden got him as a subordinate, or even if he was the leader of the new giant pirates. Is again not upset by that, but feels a little weak. Where it's just like, yeah, I'll be an ally in the future, but don't expect me until the final war.
Yeah, well, I also think we're a lot closer to the final word than we realize, but
Oh
that's
no,
a
I
whole
mean
different
like
topic.
the final war is kicked off. Emu's on the playing field. The Holy Land's under
Yeah,
fire. Egghead's been destroyed. Like,
yeah.
we have two arcs. I don't know what they are. I don't know if it's actually two. And then we're going to Marishwa and we're having a battle with the revolutionaries, the King of the Pirates, and the Holy Knights.
Oh, I
Like,
see. I think we're a lot closer than that, but
do you
yeah,
think we're closer than two arcs?
I think it's like next arc or arc after that. Yeah. I could be wrong. There's a million different things up in
You
the air,
see,
but
yeah, no, that's just it. There's a million different things up in the air. Because what? It'll probably be a cover story. I don't think we're actually going to get the arc. Fully believe we're having an Impel Down breakout, so that's got to coincide with this. Uh,
yeah.
we're what? Currently nowhere near Marijwa, so we would have to swim around the world or sail around the world rather. And to do that, we'd have to pass Lodestar. We'd have to pass Laugh so we've at least got to have one of those two arcs beforehand. And then, we get
Sure.
the Void Century flashback, true history of the world. Now we're ready to go fight. But even then, we've got to still summon the Grand Fleet. We still need to meet up with the revolutionaries. There's enough to get done. I think we're still at least two arcs away.
Okay. Let's see. I think how this arc ends will be very telling as to where we're going next. Of
Yeah,
course,
no,
that
I mean,
just
like,
makes sense. But
I think we're just very much going to know exactly what the next arc is before we leave this island. There's no more of the
yep.
days of, oh, or where are we off to
Yeah.
next? What could happen? Like, we will have a definite roadmap of where we are headed.
Yeah.
But
Um,
yeah,
okay.
so
Back.
I feel like Loki could join the crew. If nothing else, his introduction, the having the same personality as Luffy, being introduced in the
Mhm.
same way as Zoro, his ability to not back down, the fact that he is, we're introduced and he's a bad guy, he's an evil guy, but not really.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, Zoro did that exactly. Sanji was introduced as a bit of a hard ass, but he wasn't. I'm trying to think if there's any other. Frankie, bad guy, who was a good guy.
Yep.
Robin, bad guy, good guy. Chopper wasn't necessarily introduced as a bad guy, but when we first met him, we tried to eat him and he kicked our
There,
asses.
there's a little bit of antagonism there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
for sure.
so there's a general trend line of antagonist. Luffy's decided he's a good guy already, and
Yeah.
he's invited him to join. I could imagine Loki at the end of this being like, yeah, I saved Elbaf. Yes, my reputation's redeemed, but you guys chained me to that tree for so many years, you assholes. Like, there's not a
Mhm.
place for me here. I did my part on going out to sea.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
No,
oh, oh! He wanted to follow Rocksteady Zebek. And
yeah.
Luffy, as we know, definitely has ties to Zebek, right? So what if he
Mm.
finally sees the Zebek in Luffy and is like, I want to go with him? And I'm not saying Luffy's evil, but in
No, of
the
course.
SBSs, we learned Zebek would be from Brazil, Luffy's from Brazil. That's pretty much the one.
Well, I mean, you could also point to the letter D, but I mean, doesn't I mean Teach has that too, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Marshall D.
no,
Teach. Or am I
he
making that
has
up?
that too. I'm not saying like Luffy's the new Zebek, but I am
Yeah.
saying like definitely. I think
There's
Luffy is related to Zebek in terms of that is his other grandfather, which I
yeah.
think would be a lot more fun if Dragon was his son, and then marries Luffy's mom, takes the name that's not the wanted criminal of the world, tries to make things better, sees the Marines, yada yada, goes on, breaks from Zebek.
Mhm.
But I definitely think Luffy is a descendant of Zebek and not just a fanboy like Blackbeard.
Mm. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, I totally had a point. And I
But
totally
yeah,
lost
no,
it.
so you're
Oh,
right. My theory requires us to build Pluton, which is a bigger ship, and then we sail with Loki on that. But you're absolutely right. The Sunny needs to be the ship to sail the world. Now,
now,
can we
yes.
build the Sunny into Pluton? Can we like take the keel and put that on Pluton? Can we just like take the Sunny with us physically and that counts? I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of questions here. We have Frankie, a shipwright and the Atom Tree. So, like, the opportunity's there.
What
We could
like
do
if we
something
don't
with that.
build a new ship, the Sunny is getting a major upgrade while we are here.
I could see it. I could see that for sure. Especially as we're going into the final conflict and stuff.
Especially as we're going into final conflict. Like, yes, the Mary wasn't going to last all series, but
Mm,
there's precedent for okay, the ship can't keep up anymore. Not that the Sunny is breaking, but it's time to gear up and get shit together.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, man. Do you have any other thoughts on the chapter? Like, we could just keep
Ah,
going, but at this point, I just feel more fanboyish. I don't really have much to go on aside from quick
no.
shout out to join my crew, and Zoro Sanji are just like, no, he can't join the
No, 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 no,
crew.
no. Yeah,
Flash forward to 2 seconds later. Shanks obsessed fool. Don't call Shanks a fool. I'm talking about you.
this is a great, great joke. Joke.
It's I can't remember the last time Zoro and Sanji were on the same side of a comedic bit, and it's so cute to see them being together.
They're best friends. They'll never say it though. Um, I will say, okay, interesting to note that Luffy's sticking behind with Hajirden to hear the story of what happened with
Oh
Loki and all
yeah, I
that.
didn't even realize. Good point. Go
Um,
on.
and I don't know if it's just because Hajirden's staying. He's like, I like Hajirden. I'm going to stay with him or whatever. But he's sticking around nonetheless. So I'm interested to see what that means. Because yeah, we have a lot of precedent to say he doesn't do that. So I'd be curious to see that.
Not just he doesn't. Well, I guess Loki wants to be freed, and Gaban's
Hmm.
like, we can do this. Just say what you have to say, and I
Hmm.
have faith. We'll cut you loose. So this is Loki wanting to share the information. When it was Nami, it wasn't coming from Nami's mouth. Um, what other backstories did he like purposefully ignore? The
Uh,
Fishman Island backstory just didn't come
yeah.
from Odahime or Fisher Tiger, so wasn't interested in it.
No.
But as
Yeah.
far as I can tell, this is the one where it's coming from the horse's mouth himself, a guy who Luffy wants to be on the crew and needs to prove his innocence, and Luffy's gonna stand by his side here.
Hmm.
No, that's a
And
good
I
point, though. I did not even notice that.
way it did, but
Yep,
we
frozen
also
again.
felt
Say it all again.
but I appreciate Gabon saying that we were there and stuff, but like, we felt some normal hockey, whatever. So there's more to the story, and
Hmm.
he's like, hey, giving Loki a chance to explain himself, which I appreciate. Is there anything from the flashback I want to get into? I'm not sure. Um,
Oh, you know what? Real quick, I'll make the connection. So last page we
Uh-huh.
get Harold kicking his subordinate into the castle.
Yeah.
Go back a few pages to Loki kicking a subordinate into the castle door
Uh,
to kick the door open.
Good
I think
pull.
that's
Good
just
pull.
a great little nod to Harold was a piece of shit and
And
grew up to be
Loki
like
is.
one of the nicest, best guys ever. And here's Loki going through the same phase, but
Hmm.
obviously is going to have a change of heart at some point and become a good guy. So I think he's
Yeah.
still a rebellious prankster ragamuffin here, but I think he's got something he has to do to change, which gives him a character arc to be completed. All the more reason he's going to be on the crew.
Yeah. I could. Yeah. Yep. So I'd see maybe through this conversation he's having with Azradan now, and then the later events of Elbath that he's able to turn around and become more like his dad was in his later
Yeah.
years. I could totally see that.
No, he was definitely going to have like a full 180 on his character.
Hmm.
But the fact that it hasn't happened yet, and it has to, well, it doesn't have to happen technically, but there's no way Oda writes that to not happen.
Hmm.
I think we get to see that, and the only way we're really going to see that is if he travels with us.
Yep. Uh, okay. So touching on the Herald panel, I think it's pretty obvious. All the guards have the double horns. I think they've been flipped by Emu. I think that makes the most sense here.
Well, it's either
Um,
that or it could just be their helmets. And
but I
Harold,
wondered that.
well, it's possible. Like you're right. Like Emu is a foot.
Oh,
I don't know if he's controlled all the guards or if he's already flipped Harold, because we've already gotten Harold's face. Why is he a shadow figure, a
that is true.
silhouette? So
And
he's
the
either
guards out.
flipped Harold or flipped the guards, but like obviously somebody's been flipped.
Well, I wondered too because some of the guards outside, well, all the guards that we can see at least have the same helmets. Um, but they're also very quick to be like, "Hey, Loki, let me just stop and check to see what's going on in here." Blah 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 blah. Um, I don't know. That could be an effort to stall him while they're busy killing his
Mhm.
dad. I don't know, but uh, fair enough
Uh,
that Harold is shaded out. We don't know
I'll
for sure,
also
but
point out when the other giants got flipped, they became massive,
that is true.
and these
All I'm
guys are
ass-
notably not massive.
so maybe I don't know because the problem the what Hadrian's saying Loki did was he killed a bunch of guards and
Hmm.
also wounded Jarl and supposedly killed Harold. I think it's an easy out for the guards to be flipped by Emu and then have Loki be like, "Why would you do this?" Instead of him just being blinded by rage or whatever. Could be an easy out, but it doesn't have to be that.
Oh no.
Obviously.
Okay, so let me point out: if the guards haven't been flipped, let's say Harold's flipped, the guards haven't
Hmm.
been. They're attacking
Yeah,
Harold because he's gone full evil.
sure.
If that is the case, they still all flip here. I don't know if they have been flipped yet. Everybody
Hmm.
Loki kills will be a justified killing.
Hmm.
Like whether or not they're already evil is besides the point. I don't think he'd kill out of just blindness, but they're going to do something that warrants, okay, I can take as much lethal action as I want against you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. Uh, I think the only other thing I'd like to point out, wait, actually, okay, a couple of things actually. The Child of Fate comment from Gaban, is that anything? We know Shanks is important, but what does that mean? Oh, also, there's something else on Shanks I want to touch on, but
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. Child of Fate is something, but it's not like a title we've heard before.
yeah.
But he's a celestial dragon picked up by King of the Pirates, directly tied to all this stuff on Elbaf. He's immediately connected to Luffy.
Hmm.
Um, God, he says something about. He mentions Marijua. I forget where. And I was
Yeah,
like,
he mentions
what is
that.
his connection to Marijua? Obviously, a celestial dragon, but
Right, but yeah, that was going to be my other thing that I wanted to point out. they're talking about Harold, and he's like, he says they met briefly in Mary Jo and got along all right. But what reason would Shanks have to be since he was on Gold Roger's crew as a kid? How
Oh
does
man,
that line up?
I don't know. You know, did he go back? Like, did Roger die and he's like, you know, can I come home? Are you still my dad?
Also,
So, but yeah, I mean, that just, I think, ties into the child of fate kind of thing, but we don't have anything
mhm.
more to go off of.
Yeah. Also, lends credence to what you think that it was actually Shanks that showed up during the reverie, not Shamrock.
Okay, well, that I'm actually like, I don't just think that. I fucking love that. That's one of my favorite bits Oda's ever done. Because that's the scene where everyone was like, either evil Shanks or evil twin Shanks. And that's
Yeah.
officially when the fan base was like, yep, okay, evil twin.
Hmm.
But if you look, their facial hairs are slightly different, and the facial hair present there is Shanks. So I don't think it was originally that was Shanks. I think that was originally Shanks' evil twin brother. But then when we caught on, it was like, no, it was Shanks. Fuck you.
I would actually kind of love that.
Like I
Um,
love the idea that that was Shamrock, since it was written in a way very ambiguously where it could be, except for the change in facial hair. And then when everybody figured out his big reveal, it's like, fine, bigger reveal.
fuck you. uh, but yeah, I also real quick, I have like one small thing, and then oh, actually, I guess they're both small. But when Ripley pokes her head in when they're in the
Uh-huh.
hot tub still, you see the Amigasa hat that I assume Gaban's wearing when he's visiting
Oh, yeah, good
Crocus.
eye.
I only just saw that, so cool that Oda included that. And then um, when we're cutting to the massacre at the castle, and we see this is the treasure of Elbeth, the forbidden devil fruit. I
Mm-hmm.
assume that's Loki's devil fruit,
Yes, yeah, we know he got his devil fruit that day.
right? So the treasure of Elbeth, the forbidden devil fruit. Interesting. We stated our theories on that multiple times. I think at this point. So
Yeah, no, I have what I want it to be. I have no idea what it actually is.
you know, uh, oh, cute. All right. So also young giant pirates. We see obviously Dory and Bragi, but also a younger Oimo and Kashi just hanging out in the back. That's cute. I don't got anything else really.
No, I can't wait for the next chapter. I'm glad this break went by so quickly. Was it only 2 weeks?
Was it 2 weeks? Doesn't feel right because it
It
did
it
feel.
definitely it feel like it just came and went. So it's
Yeah.
such a relief that next week we're jumping right back into the flashback. So
Yup.
if you want to see our thoughts on 1153, be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.